Lecture number 8, Negotiating your sales deals in a crisis. Good negotiators understand position, intimately knowing the landscape, the market, and all parties' needs, and dramatically shift the approach and term of a negotiation. But what happens when the landscape crumbles? The spread of COVID 19 has dramatically altered business operations and cast uncertainty over the markets. Many businesses are paralyzed. Most are implementing immediate budget evaluations and freeze to cope. These evaluations will halt in progress deals and they will impact existing sales deals or partnerships too. While COVID 19 is a crisis of speed and magnitude most were unprepared for, it is not the only crisis businesses face. No matter the cause, ever negotiators should be prepared for crisis renegotiations. Our playbook prioritizes simplicity and clarity through each stage. Understand the landscape, identify leverage, and own the alternatives. Understand the new landscape of sales negotiation. It should go without saying. But we in sales are not robots. We are people. When crisis shifts the landscape, most parties involved feel uncertain, anxious, and scared. These emotions will cast a shadow over discussions. It is not your job to remove them, but to consider their impact. Start by reviewing notes from previous exchanges with the partner involved. Remember the priorities that were most valuable to achieve the original deal. If you don't have notes, make a new list and identify as many factors as possible. Then make a second list of all the ways this crisis may impact your counterpart. Does it threaten supply lines? Can their workers and teams work remotely to continue operating, or will they shut down? Were there funding contingencies in the original discussion? Finally, highlight factors that are still volatile. This will help you anticipate how the evolving crisis may cause the landscape to shift again. If you know the organization has laid off a percentage of their employees, for example, they may do so again if the crisis persists. Identify your leverage. However, you choose to establish the new landscape, really recommended putting pen to paper to make those lists. The next step is identifying which pieces are most critical, strengths and weaknesses alike on both sides. Will reveal points of leverage for the discussion. On the alternatives, hypotheticals quickly become real renegotiation. Since a deal is already in place, use this to anchor your sales conversation. It is less about striking a deal than it is about protecting all parties' interests as best as possible. Set the stage, use facts and numbers. The original deals is your anchor. You are now walking through new context. Lead the alternatives. Your preparation work should have identified several potential pathways based on various leverage points. In crisis, we recommend being more direct than you might be in a typical negotiation because the stakes are so much higher. Crises come from new forces rapidly altering the landscape of an original deal. Renegotiations must salvage the factors that remain and look for the best outcomes possible. Proactive steps set the foundation for leadership, so do not delay any longer. Own the new reality. Dear student, this is very important to learn because we have already seen such crisis. So please stay tuned ahead and learn other lectures are coming ahead. Thank you for your time.